New reports say that Nintendo's next-gen console will likely be unveiled in January of 2025 and released in March of 2024. Now, this information comes from a Twitter user by the name of Central Leaks, and it kind of goes hand in hand with what Nintendo's been kind of telling investors of saying like, hey, it's going to happen this fiscal year. It's not going to happen before the end of December, but it's definitely going to happen this fiscal year, which I believe for Nintendo ends at like end of March. So it would make sense that we would see the game announced then. But I do have to say, like, as far as pressure goes, there is a lot of pressure on Nintendo here, and I hope that they are aware of it because there is a lot riding on this. Keep in mind, the OG Switch, right, the Nintendo Switch that we have today is almost 7 years old. That console released mid-PlayStation 4 and mid-Xbox One generation. And even when you look at like the specifications of the Nintendo Switch or the original Nintendo Switch, the hardware wasn't even comparable to the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One. It was more on par with like PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360. Yet here we are in 2024, mid PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X generation, and I gotta wonder, like, with the new Nintendo Switch, does Nintendo just say, we're going to slightly improve the current Nintendo Switch and bring it up to like last gen, so it's PlayStation 4, or do they just go all out and they're like, no, for real this time, we're going to be matching the current generation. And the other narrative here is like, we talked about it, PlayStation has a brand new gaming handheld. Xbox is also working on a brand new gaming handheld. You know, this next generation for Nintendo is not going to be like Nintendo Switch versus the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. No, it's very much going to be the Nintendo Switch 2 versus Xbox's gaming handheld, or the Nintendo Switch 2 versus PlayStation's new gaming handheld. Like, that's what we're talking about here. Because they're not worried about consoles. They know that they've pushed the console market completely as far as it can go. And everybody's looking at Nintendo being like, that's a nice little pool. I wonder if we can fit our boats in over there. And they're planning on going after their bread and butter. And I can't stress this enough, that for me, Nintendo can't just release like a slightly upgraded Nintendo Switch, right? They can't be like, oh, we improved the RAM. We improved the solid state drive. It's like, no, I need this thing to be next gen. Like, otherwise I'm not going to upgrade. Because the conversation is going to become, it's like, okay, I'm not going to pay for the new console just so I can play Zelda. What about all the other third-party games that I can't play on my Nintendo? I feel like that is the question that Nintendo has to look at this next generation. It's like, how do we bring back Ubisoft? How do we bring back EA? How do we bring back all of these AA developers who have released games on other platforms and not on ours? Our player base want these. And they can't get them because our hardware is 2 generations old. Now, the other thing that Nintendo could do, and I would not put this past them, is they just get weird, right? Nintendo is always known for being very weird when it comes to their consoles, and I could see them doing some like wonky stuff to the Switch. Prime example, Tencent just announced their brand new gaming handheld this week, and it has a 3D screen just like the 3DS. I could totally see Nintendo releasing like a Switch 2 that has like a 3DS screen. I would not put that past them. And from my perspective, adding to the pressure for Nintendo is that they are going to be overproducing Nintendo Switches, right? It came out a couple weeks ago from Nintendo CEO that they're going to be overproducing Nintendo Switches to make sure that they have so much stock. And the hope is that this will combat scalpers when the console comes out. But if this console is not able to catch the attention of the average gamer, and it's just like a fart in a church, right? And there's nothing cool about it. They are going to be sitting on so much inventory. And that is where the pressure is, right? Nintendo really has to knock this out of the park. Can they do it? 100%. I have zero doubt in my mind that Nintendo can excite their player base and get them invested in this new console. Because the reality is, you just announce a couple Pokemon games, a couple Mario games, and a couple Zelda games, or a new Metroid, and your player base is going to buy this new console no matter what. But the thing that I'm interested in is, like, how do you get that casual gamer? How do you get the PlayStation gamer to buy a Switch? How do you get an Xbox gamer to buy a Switch? How do you get a cloud gamer to buy a Switch? And that's the conversation I hope Nintendo is having internally, but only time is going to tell. Now, Definitely worth noting that the information that we talked about from Central Leaks, it's all based off of rumors, right? Like, that has not been confirmed by Nintendo. And until we hear this from Nintendo, we should definitely take it with a grain of salt. But obviously, we will be paying very close attention to this like we do with any new console launch and bringing you all the details here on this show. But if you want to stay on top of the daily news as it develops surrounding the Nintendo Switch 2, make sure to become a Nerf Gaming News member, where you can get the brand new episodes of the daily as they launch every afternoon, bringing you the daily gaming news content that you need in your life. And I promise that'll be the last shameless plug that I have for this episode.